So in this video, I'll be continuing the Covfefe rabbit hole, and I'll be leaving a link in the description for my previous video where I did speak about Covfefe Bakery, and I did cover the anonymous PSYOP, QAnon, and a little bit about this corporation and the directors here. However, I did speak about Isaac Von Hillier in that video. I'll be focusing on Henry Case in this one, as well as some of the ties that Covfefe Bakery has and the purpose of its existence, as well as what Henry Case or Chad Testes are up to, as we can see that Chad Testes or Henry Case are either pseudonyms for something, or one is a pseudonym and one is a real name. I'm unsure. However, with only 2 videos that are uploaded here on this YouTube channel, it's safe to say that this one is for creeping and surveilling what's going on rather than bringing about information through this platform. So this description here, I do my part to keep the trash off our streets and away from our loved ones. There are some people who abuse the systems of good governance, which are meant to safeguard our most vulnerable from abuse and persecution by those horrible people who waltz around in public flaunting the fact that the law doesn't apply to them, but is subservient to them. So it mentions abusing the systems of good governance. Remember that term, good governance, because we'll get back to that. These gooks in power got no brains, got no morals, and are eager to defend the most atrocious of criminal actors. Why? Because these criminal actors label themselves a protected class and seek to abuse anybody who differs in opinion from their narcissism. Our resistance began on the farms, but has become something else entirely. So we can see 2 different LinkedIn profiles for Henry Case and Chad Testes, which appear to be the same, one and the same person here. I'm not a lawyer, so I can do things which a lawyer is prohibited from doing. I'm exceptionally qualified, and I deal with things nobody else wants to touch. Sounds awfully arrogant to me. But anyway, I'm going to move forward and look at these LinkedIn profiles here. Unfortunately, the thumbnail for Henry Case is no longer there, but we can see that for Covfefe Bakery and Cafe, Henry Case is labeled as the CEO or Chief Executive Officer. The purpose of Covfefe Bakery and Cafe is to provide for the collaborative and open source analysis and deconstruction of various electronic communications information relating to matters directly and indirectly affecting the good governance of their jurisdiction. So there's that term, good governance again. A grassroots NGO to ensure that the public is aware of its legal and lawful rights in the regulation and limitation of its governing bodies. Unifying discerning dissidents who appreciate the time and effort put into proper research, intelligence cultivation, media development, and the need to collaborate with equally discerning minds. Interesting description there, and as well, you're a self-labeled solutions architect. The more I read about you, Chad or Henry, whatever the case may be here, it sounds like you don't have the testes to show us who you really are, or what your real objective is, hence why you have to leave constantly confusing and even contradicting pieces of information out there, such as how you label yourself the Chief Disinformation Officer of Covfefe Bakery under this Chad Testes profile here. Now, I'm not going to bore anybody by rereading these 2 paragraphs here because they're the same that I just read. However, added, we primarily conduct research and investigation, but at times run surgical dark ops to rectify untenable situations. I would love to hear about whatever these dark ops are here that you run, Chad or Henry or whatever. And I'd love to hear a little bit more about the purpose of Covfefe Bakery beyond what I'm going to explore in this video here. And you're a self-described sanitation associate, so of Covfefe operations. So some sort of cleanup expert? What are you? Some sort of self-proclaimed hacker? Somebody who scrubs information? The truth, perhaps? We're going to explore this further. We can see, Cohen Hiley is a legal firm where where Chad is a respondent and appellant, and a Medallion Corporation is one that deals in real estate and construction and such. Chad is a self-proclaimed tenant rights advocate here. And then as well, he's a self-described nefarious technologist at PwC Management Services. Okay, interesting enough. We're going to get to PwC in a bit, but as well, he's got some education here from the Toronto South Detention Center and as well Maplehurst. I'm not sure what is exactly being alluded to within the education section there. That's a little bit broad for me. But anyway, PwC Management Services, essentially, when you look at a lot of the pictures and descriptions and things here, you can see inclusion and diversity, assurance to build trust through ESG reporting. I'll show what that is in a moment. Mining actionable intelligence and data, corporate responsibility, etc., etc. So ESG is environmental, social, and governance, by the way. And as well, we could see that there are smart cities worked on here, financial services, government and public health services, government and public services, industrial, manufacturing, insurance, mining, power and utilities, inclusion and diversity. This all sounds very much like a recipe for smart cities, as we can see here, AI, and the Sustainable Development Agenda, frankly. Cybersecurity, for instance, privacy and financial crime is explored here as well. I'm going to give a brief look of the CEO of PwC Canada. That's Nicholas over here. I have served a wide range of clients and industries as a corporate finance partner and the lead relationship partner on many of the firm's key clients. Prior to becoming CEO, I was also a member of the Canadian executive team as the national managing partner of consulting and deals and the Montreal managing partner. I was previously the managing director of PricewaterhouseCoopers Corporate Finance Inc. and specialized in mergers and acquisitions. Over the past 20 years, I have assisted mid-market public and private companies with acquisitions and raising capital, having helped entrepreneurs and private investment funds to carry out more than 150 transactions over the past 25 years. I also have extensive relationships with private equity firms in Canada throughout North America. And we can see a list of recent transactions here and expertise in the following industries: food, life sciences, retail, and consumer goods, technology, and construction products. So it sounds like with a resume like that, that's somebody who is, I guess, perfect to manage something like PwC, especially working on the Sustainable Development Agenda, essentially. So a little bit more information about Chad here. We could see this is an Instagram called Covfefe Bakery, but we see in the description that Chad Testi's name is here with a link for Covfefe Bakery, and there are no posts. Under followers, you could see, I'll just list some of the names here that I know: Kellyanne Wolf, Jane Scharf of Stand for Thee, Wayne Peters, Letitia Montana, whose name is actually Alana Johnson, by the way. I don't think she's even in Canada right now. Dr. Z, also known as Zishan Ahmed, Chuck Black, Kellyanne Wolf again. You can see Danis this is Danis Katori, I think, is the name that she's chosen for herself. That's a name plastered right on the ASMIN certificate. So Kellyanne Wolf is affiliated with the ASMIN, which you can check out my 8th Fire video to find a little bit more information about that fake native group, if you will. Stand Up Canada. I don't think I recognize anybody here. And then moving forward, Rena Malka, and eventually, once we get to the following, we can see Bright Light News, Paul Irwin was just at the bottom there. Matthew Haley, Doug Ford, Randy Hillier, Toronto Police Service, Vladislav Sobolev, and Herbalife, which I think is Vlad Sobolev's corporation. And this is supposed contact information that's been left for us. I have not called this number, but anybody can feel free to check out if that is anything legit at all whatsoever. Covfefe Bakery and Cafe apparently has a Facebook page with 10 likes and 10 followers. And as well, I just want to read some of this ironic advice here from Henry Case, which is the name for the Facebook profile here. We must never forget to follow our principles, understand the consequences of self-confidence. Don't follow a theoretical paradigm without understanding precisely how the ripples will affect the probable future realization of effect. Know thyself and understand thy neighbor, especially those who try to emotionally manipulate you with fear of what they might do or say about you. Don't be stupid until you realize that no matter what you think, there's always somebody understanding the paradigm better than yourself. So I have no idea what sort of information you're privy to, Chad or Henry or whatever the hell. But what I will say is you're just simply a pawn in the Ordo Ab Chao agenda, or that's Order Out of Chaos, by the way, if you did not follow. You're just another pawn in the game, and you're simply hiding, which shows how much of a coward you really are, Chad, or Henry. So, this is Henry Case's Facebook profile, and on Facebook, apparently he's listed as the CEO rather than the CDO, if you will. He's the Chief Executive Officer, not the Chief Disinformation Officer. And it says here that he studied at the Toronto South Detention Center as well as Maplehurst. And again, the CEO of Covfefe Bakery. And some of the names that are his friends on Facebook here, we could see Chris Weisdorf. I think he is affiliated with Adam Skelly. This particular gentleman, George Duclius, he is affiliated with a particular corporation I can't say the name of because I don't want this video to be removed, but its acronym is JJ, and it pertains to assisting people finding jobs who did not subscribe to the coercive measures taken place. And as well, we see Kellyanne Wolf. And those are the only names that I recognize in particular as friends of Henry Case on Facebook. As well, this one is kind of funny because Kelly is labeling Coggle as a PSYOP, which is, Coggle is an app where you make mind maps essentially, and it's generally used for businesses to present information and such, or to catalog information. So, the reason why this is brought up in particular is for anybody who's followed a lot of my previous videos, my last few. I've mentioned this Coggle list that is entitled Sovereign Citizen Infiltration, and I'm not sure of its purpose of existence or who created it. However, it has various names listed on it, such as Chris Sky, KJJ, and Action for Canada and such. And so, again, I'm not sure how the names are connected to each other or why, but it's worth checking out those previous videos if you want a little bit more of an elaborate description here. But in a nutshell, Kellyanne Wolf and Henry Case, if you will, are on damage control, as we can see quite clearly here in their desperation. So, within the two comments on that post of Coggle apparently being a PSYOP, you see a screenshot from Wikipedia here describing what Coggle is, and some sort of elaborate mumbo-jumbo, if you will, from Henry Case. And understand the distraction in the context of dependency, as in, what am I dependent upon in my present vessel of imprisonment? Is it wise to continue along the current path just because everybody feels it is an appropriate response? And then he goes on to quote the Bible, which I think comes from Matthew here, as in the tax collector, not me. So, yeah, it's just basically straight up damage control. And I bring this label into this video because I've seen it long before 2020, and I'm not sure where or the context of, but I just think it's interesting that it's on Henry Case's Facebook from 2018. So if anybody knows Real Patriots Fight or where that comes from, then please by all means comment in the comment section of the video. So looking further into Covfefe Bakery, we could see the Rebel Alliance, and a lot of these groups I've covered in previous videos, but this one in particular, which I can't even say the name of, but the International Anti-P Industrial Alliance. That's how I'm going to refer to it. So what is this particular organization? Well, for one thing, it's led by someone named Charles Wen, and the purpose is to build a platform for worldwide industrial partners to collaborate and develop anti-P solutions using innovative technologies such as health tech, advanced engineering, AI, mobile, and blockchain. Okay, that is interesting because a lot of blockchain-esque firms tend to partner with those that are supporting digital identity, and as well we could see that this is just incredibly tech-based here, in particular with the solutions, if you will, I use that word very loosely, that are presented by this particular corporation. It says we are all in this fight together and shows an almost grid over top of the planet Earth. And you could see these stats in particular, and with the platform you could see testing, environment, and as well this particular word that starts with the letter V, I'm not going to say. One team, communities, governments, health tech, NGOs. Sounds like, if you're fusing all of the above, saying one team, this all sounds like New World Order type of dialogue, basically relating to the sustainable agenda. Hence, smart solutions, global delivery, where you have different sorts of kiosks being manufactured here, a test kit, smart mask factory, I don't know what that is, lab on truck, so basically almost like a testing lab, but on a truck. And what organizations support this one? The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, I think, says enough. I could look into Blackhawk and GCAP in future videos. However, I think that this kind of says numbers about what we're dealing with here. I don't know why an organization like Covfefe, they support things like Action for Canada, which I've already called out as controlled opposition. But by supporting something like this, you're overtly stating that you are on board with the sustainable development agenda. You are overtly stating that. And so the vision here of this particular organization to create an effective international healthcare exchange platform engaging collaboration between global industrial partners in fighting the CP, if you will. The mission, future cooperation in smart healthcare, including commercialization. A group of responsible NGOs, research institutes, international business, healthcare network, and influential industrial veterans. And services are international forums, community donation, therapeutics development, commercialization, and to facilitate global medical supply. Okay, this is definitely a real contradiction to what the sort of freedom movement, if you will, are all about at face value anyway. And I gotta say, Kellyanne Wolf has some interesting friends here, being that she's friends with Henry Case or Chad Testes, whatever the name is again. So the director of this corporation is Charles Wen, like I said, and Charles Wen is the director of 4 other corporations according to OpenGov here. we see GCAP, which was one of the organizations supporting the the organization I was just looking at. Tammy Smart City Technologies Inc., an Alpha Innovation and Realty Investment Club Corporation. And these are all based out in Markham. So these corporations are worth looking into in a future video, but I think time is run short here, and I just think the purpose of pointing this out is to show you the sustainable development ties that an organization called Covfefe has, and the fact that it is aligned with a lot of the freedom fighters and organizations like Action for Canada and Mothers Against Distancing and such like that. That should be of grave concern to anybody. And again, I suggest watching the first Covfefe video for a more clear picture for things that might not have been adequately explained, but you can freely leave your questions in the comments section below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this. Thanks for watching, everyone, and take care of yourselves.